The idea begins quietly, almost invisibly, the way most cultural shifts do, not with protests or headlines, but with patterns that repeat often enough that they stop feeling like coincidence. Somewhere in the background of modern dating culture, the definition of what is desirable has begun to flip, and most men haven't even noticed yet. For years, the narrative was clear and loud. Be exceptional or be invisible. Be dominant, wealthy, hyper-confident, endlessly interesting, or accept loneliness as the price of mediocrity. The average man, the man with a normal job, a stable routine, modest ambitions, emotional restraint, and a grounded sense of self, was told he was not enough. He was told to upgrade or get out of the way, but something strange has happened. The same man who was once dismissed has quietly become the most requested partner, and even stranger, he's the one walking away, not out of bitterness, not out of rage, but out of clarity. This story is not about revenge or entitlement. It's about a psychological realignment that is reshaping relationships from the inside out. For a long time, desire was driven by scarcity and spectacle. In an economy of attention, extremes thrive. The most confident man, the loudest man, the man with status signals that could be seen from a distance, dominated the mating marketplace. Social media accelerated this by turning attraction into a performance metric. Followers, lifestyle photos, curated confidence, and carefully edited masculinity became the currency of value. The average man watched this happen and internalized a quiet conclusion. He wasn't losing because he was bad. He was losing because he refused to perform. He didn't brand himself. He didn't exaggerate. He didn't live for external validation. At the time, that seemed like a weakness. Now it is becoming the reason he is sought after. The modern dating environment burned itself out on excess. High-intensity personalities bring high-intensity consequences. Relationships built on adrenaline eventually collapse under emotional volatility, ego competition, and unsustainable expectations. Many people learned this the hard way. Over time, the thrill stopped feeling exciting and started feeling exhausting. The average man, once overlooked, began to stand out simply by being stable. Not boring, but predictable in the best sense of the word. He became associated with peace instead of chaos, consistency instead of drama, presence instead of performance. This shift did not happen because someone declared it. It happened because enough people experienced the cost of instability and quietly recalibrated what they wanted. Psychologically, humans seek balance after prolonged stress. When emotional systems are overloaded, the nervous system looks for regulation, not stimulation. The average man unintentionally embodies regulation. He doesn't spike cortisol levels. He doesn't create emotional roller coasters. He offers something increasingly rare in a hyperconnected world: psychological safety. Not the kind that comes from constant reassurance or emotional dependence, but the kind that comes from knowing what to expect, knowing where you stand, and knowing that words and actions align. This is not flashy, it doesn't photograph well, but it is deeply felt. As this realization spreads, interest in the average man increases. He is approached more often. He is given signals that would have been unthinkable years earlier, yet something unexpected happens. He does not respond the way the culture assumes he should. He does not rush in. He does not overcommit. He does not pedestalize attention simply because it was once scarce. Instead, he pauses, he evaluates, and more often than not, he says no. This refusal confuses people who still believe desire should be met with immediate gratitude. They mistake his restraint for arrogance or emotional unavailability. In reality, it is something else entirely. The average man has lived through invisibility. That experience rewired him. When attention was absent, he was forced to build an internal life. He learned to self-regulate, to self-entertain, to self-respect. He learned how to be alone without being lonely. This is a crucial distinction. Loneliness is the absence of connection. Solitude is the presence of self. Many men who were overlooked developed solitude not by choice, but by necessity. In doing so, they accidentally cultivated independence. Now that attention arrives, it does not land on an empty foundation. It lands on a full one. When you do not need validation, you stop chasing it. When you stop chasing it, you start noticing patterns others ignore. The average man begins to see that interest often arrives late, not early. He notices that desire appears when he is already stable, not when he was struggling. He notices that the same traits once labeled boring are now labeled safe, reliable, and mature. This realization creates a quiet but firm boundary. He is no longer willing to audition for affection. He is no longer interested in proving his worth. He is selective not because he thinks he is superior, but because he understands the cost of misalignment. Saying no becomes an act of self-preservation. The average man has learned that not all interest is healthy interest. Some attention is driven by fear of being alone, not genuine compatibility. Some desire is reactive, not intentional. He has watched cycles repeat where people chase excitement, get burned, then seek stability as a form of recovery rather than choice. He does not want to be someone's emotional rehabilitation center. He wants reciprocity, not relief. This discernment is often misinterpreted, but it is deeply rooted in psychological growth. There is also a structural shift happening beneath the surface. Economic uncertainty, social fragmentation, and cultural exhaustion have changed what people unconsciously seek in partners. Grand promises feel unreliable in unstable times. What feels valuable now is someone who can remain grounded when systems fail. The average man is practiced at this. He did not build his identity on applause. He built it on routine, competence, and internal metrics of success. These traits scale well in chaos. They create a sense of anchored masculinity that does not need to dominate to feel secure. Ironically, the same systems that once marginalized the average man are now amplifying his value. Dating apps, with their endless options, created decision fatigue. When everyone appears replaceable, reliability becomes rare. The average man is no longer competing on spectacle. He is being chosen for endurance. Yet, because he understands the mechanics behind this shift, he does not mistake demand for destiny. He does not assume interest equals alignment. He knows that being wanted is not the same as being valued. This is where the story takes its most misunderstood turn. When the average man declines, it disrupts expectations. Rejection is supposed to flow in one direction. His refusal challenges narratives about power and desirability. It forces a confrontation with timing. Why now? Why after he has already learned to stand alone? Why when he no longer needs saving or validation? These questions are uncomfortable, so they are often deflected. But the average man has already asked them privately. He has already processed the answers. The truth is not malicious, it is structural. People want what they are ready for, not what was available earlier. The average man is not punishing anyone by saying no. He is simply aligned with himself. He understands that a relationship should enhance an already stable life, not destabilize it. He understands that compatibility is about shared values, not delayed appreciation. This perspective makes him slower to commit and quicker to disengage from misaligned dynamics. From the outside, this can look like emotional distance. In reality, it is emotional maturity. The average man does not confuse intensity with intimacy. He does not equate chaos with passion. He values calm because he knows how rare it is. His boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They allow what fits to enter and keep what disrupts out. This filtering process is not dramatic. It is quiet, consistent, and unapologetic. As more average men reach this stage, the dating landscape subtly shifts again. The power dynamic changes, not because men are asserting dominance, but because they are withdrawing from games they never wanted to play. They opt out of performative masculinity. They opt out of constant proving. They choose depth over display. This creates a vacuum. When someone no longer competes for attention, attention loses its leverage. This does not mean the average man is closed off to connection. It means he approaches it with intention. He is open but not eager, present but not desperate. Interested but not invested until alignment is clear. This posture is often misread by those accustomed to chasing or being chased, but it reflects a deeper understanding of value. When you know your life works without external approval, you no longer negotiate your standards for access. The most revealing part of this shift is not that the average man is desired. It is that he does not let desire define him. He remains rooted in the identity he built during years of invisibility. He remembers what it cost to develop resilience. He remembers the silence that forced him to grow. He does not abandon that foundation for late-arriving validation. In this sense, his refusal is not rejection, it is discernment. It is the natural outcome of self-respect meeting delayed interest. It is the quiet assertion that timing matters, values matter, and peace matters. The average man is not becoming rare because of status or strategy. He is becoming rare because he knows who he is without anyone watching. This story does not end with bitterness or triumph. It ends with equilibrium. A man who once questioned his worth now understands it deeply enough not to bargain with it. A culture that once dismissed him now seeks him out, only to discover that he is no longer available in the way it expects, not because he is closed, but because he is complete.